Karen, I'm teaching my first conducting class, right? A group class via Zoom, probably on Wednesday. Have you experimented yet with teaching a group class remotely? And you're on mute right now, but can you offer some insight into?
Yeah, so with my undergraduate class, I'm doing both. We're meeting as a group, and then we're also doing individual coachings. So I've replaced one of our meetings per week with coachings. But the group classes work well. I use this as an opportunity to do more lecture style things, which funnily enough, I feel like I don't have very much time to do in a conducting class. So again, I'm putting a positive spin on this, but taking time to, in a way, lecture about things like programming and rehearsal technique and diction and these allied topics that sometimes I think we don't have enough time on. And it works really well. I mean, students will chat questions, students will pop their hand up, and we can also do the break-off groups if we want to have a discussion time. And so far it's been very positive. Frankly, we just all really enjoy seeing one another. And that's really the thing I think that's been missing.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else on the topic of gesture? Okay, then let's go on. Conducting is not just about gesture, and we've alluded to many of these things already, but can I start with Karen? Can you talk, what else are you doing besides gesture-related assignments now that we're in this new reality?
Well, you know, we've been able to put a greater focus on rehearsal technique, and the students, rather than articulating their rehearsal in real time, are writing rehearsal plans, which is not a perfect, replacement, but it is giving us more of a chance to talk through, like, how do we sequence a plan? How do we write it? How do we have, a column for secondary strategies, just to really put a laser focus in on rehearsal. And there's another assignment that I really enjoy and conductors seem to benefit from, and that is a score listening and score following assignment. This might be more suitable to the undergraduate, but to take a score of your choosing, perhaps something Baroque in the sense of having imitation and things like that, and then asking them to listen to a model recording multiple times while following a score, and to follow through. And I always dictate the order of this, to start with the continuo or with the bass line, and to, as you listen, try to bring your ear to that particular line, and then perhaps the melody line, and then, tenor, alto, or maybe there are instrumental parts as well. So they're listening to the same score multiple times, but in with a different focus, aural focus. And then to ask them to listen to parts together, SATB or tenor bass, something like that. But at the end of it, they maybe have listened 10 or 12 times, but then to write about, what was easiest to hear at what point in time, in this imitation passage, I was not able to locate the tenor line or something like that. And I think it's a nice chance for us to put on a focus on score reading and on the oral aspect of listening to scores as well.
Good. William, what other assignments outside of gesture?
Well, one of the other assignments that I will credit my graduate teaching assistant upon doing, and I've done it as well, where I will have them to go to well, when I say go to YouTube, we'd give them video conducting assignments that are specific to conductors to watch, professional conductors, those whose names are out there and doing things that we approve of, I should say. And so to analyze that, what do you see, what do you hear, and again, it's not just the singing, but it is how does the choir respond to that conductor. And I oftentimes will try to use a piece that they are very familiar with, have them with a score go through and analyze. And going back to what Karen was saying, I am probably as mean as the next person when I will make them play through their assignments and record that onto like Finale or Sibelius or whatever they use. And because I personally, that's just one of my habits that I do, and it helps me to really learn the piece. And I have a score that I can actually write on and not go to jail for making a copy of it. But I guess I did make a copy of it. I don't know. But anyway, but still, not publishing or selling.
Deanna, do you have other assignments with your graduate or undergraduate students that you're on?
I have one that hasn't been mentioned yet that I'll offer out. And actually one of my graduate students got this started in our studio just a week ago, and we've been all kind of doing it. We're doing a repertoire sharing assignment. So we have a Google Drive file, and every week, everybody in the studio and me and my colleague, we all pick 2 pieces, and we put the composer, the title of the piece, a recording, the dates of the composer, the country the composer is from, and just, share a recording, say the conductor and the ensemble. And so we've all just kind of been geeking out over choral music, and hopefully tipping each other off to pieces that maybe they didn't know. This past week, I put up 2 pieces by Britten that I kind of want them to listen to. And so it's, it's been fun, and it's something that keeps us all going. And then, when we meet face to face, which is, as everyone said, kind of really important, I think, for all of us to stay sane and stay connected to each other. We have more things to talk about. So,
yeah. Nicole, I think you mentioned a YouTube assignment. Is that similar to William's idea, or?
Yes, I have done YouTube assignments like William had mentioned, but another assignment came to mind as Deanna was talking that I just assigned my undergraduate class, is they will, and it's really a test of their internalization, their inner ear, their inner hearing of the music. So they will have a metronome to count them, or they'll count off, create a video of them conducting a section of the music, for example, silently. And then that video will be shared to another person in the class, who will then record themselves singing their part while watching the students. And then that recording goes back to the original conductor to say, oh, was I actually clear? Did I actually get what I thought I was going to get? And then they come up with a rehearsal plan to accommodate what they heard in their colleagues singing from their conducting.
That's great. And that's sort of this forced interaction to have between students. I think. Jeff, you talked about score study, and you've talked about analysis. Any specific things you'd like to mention about those assignments or others?
Oh, not really, beyond all the great suggestions we've heard already. I'm very eager to try to start experimenting with more use of video in my own teaching, which, as I said before, is just not something I've really experimented with before. I think I've also been toying with the idea of some kinds of more structured memorization exercises than I've done in the past. That may be a way to test a student's knowledge of the score, and that might also overlap with video technology. But the only other small thing I can think of that hasn't been mentioned is that I have a student who was also supposed to conduct the Bach cantata later this month as part of our repertory chorus recital, and I've asked her to just scan her bowings and send them to me, and we're probably going to spend most of tomorrow's lesson just talking about bowings, and hopefully in greater detail than we would have had time to do otherwise.
Great. A couple of things that came up from our conversation, and I think this was touched on too, but programming assignments, right? Maybe having our students put together programs with the repertoire. I know my group, we were just about to get to warm-ups, having students devise a series of warm-ups that they teach the conducting class, and then I'll have them up in front of concert choir doing those same warm-ups. I don't know how I'll do that yet, except maybe just, record yourself warming up a fake choir, something like that. So